Hello, everybody. Welcome to this webinar. My name is Wayne Johns. I'm a fashion, beauty, and advertising photographer. I'm also a Fujifilm ex-photographer ambassador and Arri lighting ambassador. And today I'm going to be diving into a webinar that's based around social media for commercial use. But first off, I'd like to thank Fujifilm UK and Wex for having me on here to do this webinar. It's going to be about 45 minutes long, hopefully, and we're just going to go in and cover some sort of relative subjects and topics that are going to be based around social media platforms, layouts, stories versus posts, videos, BTS, personal page versus business page, quality of images, cameras, etc., etc., etc. And really just to sort of show how in today's world, having a social media presence is kind of crucial to your business. Not the most interesting and fun things to do as photographers, we all know. We all like to get on and shoot imagery and, get creating the creative stuff. But it's one of those necessary evils, I'm afraid, that we have to do in today's world. So let's try and dive into a little bit of it. Now, I'm not going to dive into all the platforms that are available for social media because there's just far too many of them for this 45-minute session. But we will be diving into some of them like Facebook, Instagram, Behance, LinkedIn, and one called Cherry Deck, which you may or may not have heard of. But I think first off, introduce myself a bit more. As I said, I'm a fashion, beauty, and advertising photographer, have been for over 25 years. I've been a Fujifilm shooter probably for about 7 years in total, and I shoot both the X series and the GFX series, which I've just been happy with commercially for so long now, and it's been absolutely great. Straight off the bat, I'm going to apologize if my eyes are flicking around all over because I've got two screens that I'm looking at here, so I can share information with you, and I need to navigate those with my keyboard. So yeah, I do apologize if my eyes are darting all over the place, but I will try and look at you as I'm talking to you as we go through some stuff. So let's have a little look at sort of the kit I use. So there's a little overhead shot of what I currently use my day to day. It's not everything I own, of course, but here's my sort of go-tos. There at the top left, you'll see my GFX 50R. Alongside that goes a GFX 100. And I've got sort of three lenses there, which are my go-tos for my kind of work. And then we move over to my XT4, XT3 in the picture, but that's since been replaced with the XT4s and some lenses there. And in amongst that, I've got some flash triggers, a light meter, color card, SD cards, microphone, hard drives, and a gimbal for some film work, which we use quite a lot, which you'll understand why in a moment. Not that you need a gimbal, but if you're into moving image, then obviously it's a good thing to have. So let's just go into it a little bit more then. Why is social media so important? Well, it's just the digital age that we're in today. Sadly, that everything is online, and everybody wants to look online for things, and everybody's got mobile devices, and everything's so instant nowadays. And if you don't sort of be part of it, you're going to get kind of left behind. But what can we do with social media? Because it's a kind of a love-hate thing. Certainly is for me anyway. I know that much. And some of them I really hate. And some of them you just have to put up with and build it into your business. So that's what we're going to go through today. And I also want to point out why perhaps different social media platforms may be more applicable to your type of business, because we all have different business needs. And some social media platforms are better in some areas and some are better than in others. So it depends what you shoot. And depends what you're going to be doing. Now, if you're a new business, then a lot of these points will be relevant for you, being a new and upcoming business and building your brand and reputation for sure. So if I move on to coming back there, let's have a look at some of the media platforms we've got and the kind of slight little differences they may have between them. Because as I said, some of them will give you different features, and not just different features, but some of them will be more relevant to your business. So let's dive straight over. I mean, the first one, we got Facebook. Everybody knows Facebook. Personally, I absolutely hate Facebook, but it's a necessary evil. We've got to kind of have it for the business, and it is crucial for our online presence today. Now, Facebook, you may not associate this popular social media platform with photography specifically, because everybody's on it, no matter whether you've got a business or not. But having a Facebook page is really essential for helping build your business. And by that, I mean that when we look at what Facebook does, the interactions on Facebook pages maybe not be as high as other media sites, but the people that follow you through this are more likely to become your clients, depending on your type of work, of course. If you're a commercial car photographer, it may not be so relevant. But if you're a photographer that deals with, say, the general public, i.e., your portraits, your weddings, your pets, your babies, that kind of thing, then this is probably going to be a really strong website for you because they're going to be your main customer base. But the good thing is with this also, Facebook does offer a standard page and a business page, and it can, also offer you paid ads, demographics where you can choose your area, location, and country. And if as I said, if your business involves the general public, then this is probably one of the stronger routes for you in terms of helping grow your business in that respect. But it's got to be used correctly, and you've got to utilize its features really. Now, I'm not going to go into each and every one of these and break down because we can never do it in 45 minutes. But we're just doing a little overview of these, and then we're going to get on to how we post and why we post and when we post, and some of the options you should be thinking about in utilizing these different platforms in the ones we're going to sort of list today. But also some other information you need to be taking into consideration to help your business or help grow your business if you're new. So moving on from Facebook, we've got Instagram. Now, Instagram, everybody knows that as well. And really, Instagram was among the first to allow photo sharing exclusively on phones. And today, it still probably remains among one of the most popular social media sites for that purpose. Of course, it's not always easy to make it on Instagram these days with the way algorithms are changing. And in addition to that, obviously, there's so much talent around. It is challenging to gain followers and interaction on Instagram, but it is still probably the best option if you need exposure photographically. And moving on from that as well, we now know that, Facebook bought Instagram, and Facebook have been changing the algorithms, and they've been merging the algorithms and merging accounts now as well. So that can be a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. But as a purpose, as a photography career, there's one thing I want to point out, and especially with Instagram, because everybody thinks it's about the followers, it's about the followers, it's about the followers. Yeah, followers are good, don't get me wrong. And then if you're a model, and model agencies look at how many followers you've got. Some clients look at how many followers you've got as talent. As photographers, is not as relevant, even though I have seen trend moving now that even some companies and ad agencies are asking how many Instagram followers you've got, which I think is absolute madness. It should be based on your work, your content, your creativity. But I just want to say, the important thing is don't make the mistake of thinking that social media, whichever platform, is a popularity contest, because it's not. So don't worry so much about racking up your followers, the number of your followers, but instead focus your energy on your quality of work and the quantity of work you're putting out there. And just be aware that you're there to make it available so that the right people see it, and those right people offer you opportunities to be able to gain more business or increase your business. So don't be drawn into that little trap thinking it's a popularity contest. It's not. If you just carry on plugging away and shooting good work and getting your good work uploaded, I say good work emphasized there, then that will naturally cause momentum, and you've got to try and share it then under the noses of the right people. That's the important thing. Then we move over to Behance, or Behance, as it's also pronounced. Now, Behance is a creatives platform. It's owned by Adobe. Adobe owns this platform, and it's probably one of the best photography networking sites available today. I use the term networking there. And it is really aimed at photographers and designers, so it's quite specific. So there's no general public and things in there in that respect. Obviously, yes, photographers can open an account if they're not full-time photographers, but what I mean is it's all about imagery and not what your hamster had for breakfast yesterday morning, none of that kind of stuff. But what it makes it different is that it also allows other users to share and interact with your content. And in a way, Behance functions a little bit like LinkedIn for creatives. But the only difference is it focuses more on graphics and photography and not all the industries of the world. So in that respect, in a business to business or a B2B point of view, that's actually really, really good. Now with Behance, once your work is on the site, it will be available to regular users as well as potential clients, which is obviously very, very important for all of us. But it mostly acts as a portfolio where you can show off your work to colleagues and the general public because anyone can view it. But apart from that, and apart from the generic comments, you'll also see a lot of technical critique from professionals in the industry, which can also help a lot in your growth. And I say help a lot in your growth, and I'm kind of aiming that as newcomers or new businesses, that kind of thing. So that can be a really big help. And there's a lot of nice people on Behance because they're all creatives and they're all doing the same thing. Then we move over to LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn may not immediately jump out as a social media site of choice. And I do know a lot of people have gone, oh, I don't bother with it anymore. It's kind of dying off. It's failing. It's because those kind of people are looking at it in the wrong way. Now, LinkedIn really is a B2B, a business to business networking networking site. It is for businesses to be in front of other businesses, no matter what the business is. That's the downside. They cover everything across the whole world. So it's not specifically to photography. But if you're a photographer, say, wanting to work in the commercial world, and by that I mean a business rather than being general public for, say, portraiture, weddings, pets, those kind of things, but the commercial world, then LinkedIn is probably a very, very good site to get on and to manage and keep updated, especially on the business to business aspect. Now, the benefit of LinkedIn is that it enables you to follow, connect, and interact with a type of business or businesses that is relevant to your type of work. Now, it takes a little bit of legwork to get into all of these media platforms, to be fair, but you've got to put in the effort and legwork to get in there, get familiar with it, get things uploaded to it, and build it into your workflow as your daily upload. The same as anything else. It takes hard work. But once you're in there, the good thing about it is with all these companies that you can add to your connections list or contacts list is that sometimes, depending on the level of membership you have, same with all platforms, they want money for extra membership. But with that comes benefits, I suppose. The good thing with it is they also include contact details within these companies. So it kind of enables you to really find the person, if they're on there, of course, the person that you need to speak to or get in contact with within that company. Now, I know for a fact a lot of art directors and things are on LinkedIn, which for us photographers are relevant really for us to get in contact with to get booked for work. So generally those names are in there, but they, depending on the level of access you've got, sometimes LinkedIn, or most of the time, LinkedIn will also give you their contact details. So email addresses, phone numbers, things like that. That's, of course, if that person or that business or company has uploaded that information in the first place. But generally, most do. So that's a good thing. So yeah, don't ignore LinkedIn if you're on the commercial side and business to business, because it could be a very strong contender for you. Now, I'm going to bring out one you may not be too familiar with, and that's one called Cherry Deck. Now, Cherry Deck, get my teeth in to say that right. Cherry Deck may not be as well known as the others, but it's certainly a growing platform that is for photographers, videographers, and models. On the flip side, it's also for brands and companies at the same time. And it's really aimed at the commercial world and business in that respect. So a lot of ad agencies use them. A lot of art directors use them. Picture editors use them. magazines, clothing brands, companies, car brands. It's a whole mix, but it is aimed at photographers, videographers, and models, which is cool. So all the creative talents, which is nice. It's a really good site to get into, and we're going to go and take a look at that one in a moment. And just changing screens, which I'll bring up in a second. And a good thing with it is that companies also come to Cherry Deck to search for photographers. But on top of that, they also post ads as well. So they post ads for jobs, they post commissions, they post shoots, so there's loads of opportunities there. It's not all in this country, it's all over the world. And generally the job listing and job posting will show you which country the job is in, how much the budget is, any other details, and then you can apply for that. Now with them, it will help you build an online portfolio. Cherry Deck also has a powerful marketing hub, which you've got to get your head around a little bit. And like I said, it posts jobs and opportunities. So you can actually pitch to clients as well, which is a good thing. And you can build portfolios in there again. Again, it depends on the level of membership. The same with everything. But, we are in the business world after all. But a really good thing. So, for you being able to pitch for work or go in and apply for work, when jobs are posted up, and they do sort of drop you an email every 7 days, I think, with any new sort of commissions that have come in. So that's quite a good one. But specifically for photographers, videographers, and models. And what we can do on that is we can just pop over and have a look at that, and I'll show you. Just pick this one just because it's easy to navigate very quickly, and everybody knows Instagram and everybody knows Facebook. So this is Cherry Deck. So you'll see here for creatives, that's us, the photographers, where we can go in and become a member and showcase our work. And over here you've got for brands, where companies can go in and search for photographers in a certain genre or a certain industry, or even a certain genre in a certain industry in a certain country. So very, 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 very good. They also feature artists, which is cool. They give you some inspiration and opportunities. So there's some good things there to help you if you're new in business. I'm going to scroll to the bottom of all this. Excuse the blurriness coming in. But if you come up to the menu here, you can see we've got marketing tools. In here, you can apply for promotions. It'll give you advice on how to get more clicks on your Instagram bio, more reach on Instagram, which we've just been talking about. Instagram success, as you can see, they work very closely with Instagram and businesses and things. But lots of things in here, jobs and opportunities coming in all the time, and it just shows you the listings like that. So if you're a member, some of them you need full membership to access, you can jump in and you can just apply for these if they've not already passed. And you go in and submit your work, and if you fit the criteria. So Cherry Deck is a very good site indeed, and still growing all the time. So that's the nice thing. So that's a short overview of just some of the social media sites. And now we're going to get into really what you should be doing to utilize them as a photographer and making the best of them for commercial purpose. So the first thing really I want to talk about is, the frequency of posting. How often should you post? Should you post regularly, once a week, once a month, once a day, twice a day, 3 times a day? That's going to kind of vary a little bit. There is no single answer, which is going to just be the be all and end all of that sort of question. So posting regularly is, I would say, every day is good, or every other day if you're finding it hard to find the time. But I post daily generally. I miss a few here and there myself. But daily is a good idea. Now, the good thing with posting to some of these sites, which is important feedback for you to pay attention to in respect of helping keep an eye on your business and the marketing side of it, is that some sites offer statistics. And by that, I mean, they show you sometimes what time of day your posts are being looked at, how often, which country they're in, which one of your posts are more successful, all those kind of things. Now, not all the sites offer it, but some of them do. And it's really important to pay attention to that, because If you're putting posts up at say 6 o'clock in the morning, and you're not getting very many views, which just coming back to that, algorithms play a huge part of, which can mess us all up, which social media platforms often do mess us all up, annoyingly. It's helpful to go in and see which time of day your posts are getting viewed most, and which country, because obviously, on different time zones, you're going to get perhaps different views in different countries. Now, don't accept every friend that comes requesting a friend link in your social media, because sometimes they may not be relevant to you. So I would say, accept the friends that are going to be relevant to you in your business or to help you along your journey if you're new in business and growing. So don't fill your friends list up with people that are, don't want to say people that are not relative, but if it's work related, non-work related things, there's separate sites for that, and it's a good idea to keep them separate. So frequency, yeah, every day is good. It doesn't take long. And we're going to sort of go into a site in a minute on how we put together posts. But when you are putting posts together, I think you've got to take into consideration the layout that you use, because different media platforms give you different options for layout. For instance, Instagram can give you grid layouts, window layouts, row layouts. You can take one image and turn it into 9 block images. So it takes up 9 blocks of your Instagram page. Like, they give you 9 windows, like a mosaic effect, really, which can also be good. So all these things are important, taken into account when you're designing your posts and using social media. But one of the things that I use, which I find really, really useful, I'll just change my page over here, is Adobe Spark. Oh, there's layout. Sorry, wrong slide. Just looking at that one there. So layouts is important. Keep things consistent. Have consistency in your strips. My page is not completely guilty of not being consistent. We all have those moments where we just have something we want to upload and we do it. But consistent imagery can play a really important part. And not only that, it does make your page look better when clients are bringing it up. So if you can post consistently and have similar things coming, I mean, here these are posted. These are, a couple of these are mock-up magazine covers, not actual magazine covers. But I've purposely picked them that the image on the left is looking left, the image on the right is looking right, and the one in the middle is looking straight ahead. Just creative things to think about in the way you lay your feed out, really. But moving on to the next one, I use Adobe Spark. Now, you've got this on your mobile phone or on your desktop, so you can do both, and you can log into the same account on both. Now, it's owned by Adobe, which I just said, Adobe Spark. Now, the good thing with Adobe Spark is that it can give you templates for creating social media posts. And if you see here, I've already got Instagram story post, Facebook post, photo collage, presentation, slideshow, branded, which is your own branding, customized sizes. And there are more options apart from that little short view there. But it's a very quick way of creating posts, and posts that may not just be a photo on its own with some text. You can start getting creative on top of the photo and the page layout. And I'm going to show you just a very quick sample version of how to do that. Now, I'm immediately going to pull up one I've already pre-made here, but I will show you how to do it. We'll just wait for that to load up. But these are very good. And the good thing is when you're making these is that you can make a week's worth in like half an hour. If you're doing one post a day, you can make a week's worth of these in half an hour, ready to post out one a day every single day. So it doesn't take long once you get the hang of it, once you know what you're doing. But the good thing is it means you can plan your morning in advance and give yourself an hour or two for social media or an hour for social media. I know we don't all have the time for that, but in an ideal world, we're meant to be photographers, aren't we? Unless you've got other members in your team who can be doing all this for you. But here's an example. Now, this is in an Instagram format, Instagram story format, so it is rectangular. So this has really laid this out for me. Book senior portraits, you can tell that this doesn't actually match this image. And I haven't changed any of the text, but you can. That's the easy thing. I can move it all around. That's the easy way. I can resize this stuff. I can change the color. If I double click it, it goes into changing the text to type it. And over here, I can change the color theme of everything in there as well. I can even add my own logo if I wanted to, which is there. I can pick that one. It'll drop my logo in if you've got a business brand logo, and I can resize that to fit. All really nice and easy. Now, if I don't like that design, I can perhaps click on the next one, and it will use my same image and things like that. I can Command Z to go back if we don't like it. Now, the good thing about Adobe Spark is there's so many options. And for example, if I didn't really like what I was doing, I could click on design. Where are we? Actually, let's go to sizing first. So let's go to sizing. So you'll see here, sorry, I'm looking off camera at the moment. You'll see here, I've got lots of preset formats for Twitter, for Snapchat, LinkedIn, YouTube, Pinterest, Facebook, and the list goes on. So currently I'm using Instagram Portrait, which is one I would use. Now, when I make my post for Instagram, I will make one for Portrait and one for Stories. And the easy way to do that, say this is my completed ad. I will then come back to projects where I've got one here. I will then go to these three dots and I will duplicate that one. And I will call that, say, Stories. So I know what it is. I always do mine by date order. As you can see, there's doubles of everything here. So that one's come up. And then I just click Edit Project. So then just wait for that to refresh that screen. So now that's bringing that project in, and you're thinking, hold on a minute, that's not in Stories. No, I've just renamed it Stories. But what we can do now is we can resize, and I can pick Instagram Story. And now it changes it to Instagram Stories format for me. But of course, I've got to make some changes now to make all this fit because, as we know, it is narrower now and taller, but it doesn't take long. And again, I can move my image around if I wish in there. And on my image, I can even zoom in and move down if I wanted to do closer crops. And I just drag and drop. There's some little effects windows here if you want them, or none at all. Turn them off, and things like that. So it's a very, very powerful tool. Just show you one example. So if I come back and go to templates, this will kind of show me templates that are similar. And if I click this arrow, you will see that it brings up hundreds and thousands and thousands and thousands. There you go. There's 37,000 templates in there already. You can be a little bit more select. If I said I wanted, portrait only, portraits, doing portrait photography, I can type that in the search, and then that'll go off and do a search, and it will bring back images generally related to portrait photography. So very, very powerful in helping you design your ads. Now, don't worry, we've picked this one here, but don't worry if you like the coloring and that on this one. You can pick that one and we'll create with that one. You can always change you can always resize it to fit Instagram Stories or Facebook or whatever you're repurposing it for. Now remember, these images are only dropped in as placeholders. So I can just replace image. And for that, we can just click on that. I'm going to upload a photo, and then I'm going to pick this one here. We're going to drop that image in, and that's waiting for it to upload. All very simple. And again, you can do this on your mobile phone, or you can do it on desktop. Whatever I create on desktop is also my mobile phone. It's a great tool for creating these kind of things. And once you get into the flow of it, it's really, really simple. And there are so many templates in there that it really, really helps. So I'm not saying you have to use it all the time, but sometimes if you want an image with a bit more layout and you're not a designer, a graphic designer, there's a lot of things here that can help speed up that process for you and make your stuff look really, really good. And you can change most things in there as well. For instance, if I don't like this text, we can change this text in here as well. These are all. So we can change our fonts in here. We can change the main style. We can change the shape. We can change the shadows. There's lots of nice options in there for all of this. Excuse me. So yeah, massive, massive scope for all things like that. So I would say if you've not used Adobe Spark before, yes, you have to become a member of it, I think. But yes, certainly go in and have a go at that. You can bash out a week's worth if you're doing one a day, and you can add a little bit more finesse or a little bit of a higher end sort of design in terms of layout for your imagery and for your posts. And it's easy to take the same post and replicate it for different social media platforms, which is the really, really nice thing about it. You just duplicate the one that you've done, and then you choose the relevant platform from the menu down the side, and it just resizes it all for you. And then you just hit the download button, and it gives you it as a JPEG, and you save it in your folder, drag it to your phone, and upload it when you're out if you want to use Instagram. So very, very good for things like that. And I think the important thing is when you're doing social media posts as well, that when you're writing your posts, really it's important to keep whatever you're writing quite bold, short, and effective. Don't go on for too long. He says, whittering on here. Don't go on for too long, but make it relevant. But another good thing is to include the people that you've worked with or the brands that you've worked with. So say, one of these images with a Vogue, I would put at Vogue or at British Vogue or at Fujifilm UK or at Wex, because that means it gets flagged up on their sites. And if they then repost, then that's gaining you more engagement, which is really important on Facebook and Instagram. Basically, engagement is how long you spend on not just looking at an image, but perhaps commenting on an image. So if you gave me a comment on my image and then I replied quite quickly, and then you replied again, then somebody else replied, it means there's a lot of engagement on that one photo or that one topic. And the algorithms pick up on that, and it can then drive your popularity up. And not on Facebook so much, but other platforms, Google does see that sort of behavior going on. So if it's linked back to your own website as well, if you're using blog posts, there are some websites out there where you can write your blog post and it will post it to your social media forums as well. So it's kind of tying all these together. Now, me myself, because Facebook and Instagram are sort of the same, under the same umbrella, and they're the same company now, I've linked my accounts. So when I post to Instagram, it automatically posts to my Facebook business account. I say business account because I have a personal and a business one for different reasons. Kind of speaks for itself, really. So I'm not having to post to Facebook and having to post to Instagram. I'm doing two birds with one stone, so to speak. But don't forget to add at all the people you're working with. If you're working with creatives like makeup artists, stylists, designers, set designers, prop stylists, whatever, include them and tag them with your @ symbols, and tag them in your picture, because it all gets bounced around that network, which will gain you more engagement and recognition. And not only that, it's nice to credit your team as well. And also with a lot of social media, don't forget to put your hashtags in. It can be relevant as well. A lot of things get picked up on hashtag and trending hashtags, especially Instagram, more so. And with all of that, if you include, links in your website, your blog post, include links to companies, say at Wex, and then that link at Wex word is a link to their website. That then comes back as a link. It's called a link back. It comes as a link back, which then can, in a way, drive more traffic to your website via link to their website and vice versa. It's nice if both companies do a link back, because then you get double traffic. All very complicated and not as exciting as actually picking up your camera and shooting. I know. But all super important. All super important. And talking of super important, let's just talk about image quality a little bit. Now, I don't necessarily mean, the quality of image in post-processing or anything like that, but image quality is super important in what you're putting up on the social media platforms, because at the end of the day, you're selling you. You're selling yourself. You're selling your brand. You're selling your work. And by that, and by image quality, what I'm really saying is don't post every image you shoot just for gaining more content or greater numbers of content. Okay, post up the images of your best work to show your best pieces in your best workflow. You want your best work to be shown to clients or prospective clients. You want them to look at you at your best. That will certainly help gain interest and hopefully in the long run gain more clients. There's no quick recipe for all of this. It is a long. This is definitely a marathon and not a sprint. This process of gaining recognition on social media and trying to boost your business. But yeah, don't post everything you shoot. There is no point in posting mediocre images. If you've got an image where you quite like it, was like, yeah, it's all right, but just wish I'd done a little bit better, then don't feel obliged to post it. You don't have to. It is your choice at the end of the day. So only post your best work, because it's going to serve you better in the long run. Now, moving on to kit, I'm talking generally equipment here. We're talking social media. Now, I know what everyone's saying. Social media is images. Most people are looking at them on their smartphones or tablets or whatever. And we all know that the screen's smaller, the quality's less, everything's compressed. So, can I just do it on my smartphone? Does a pretty good job. And for some things, you're absolutely right. Yes, it does. And there's nothing wrong with it for some things. For posts, for BTS, for, creating a story towards, you're on your way to a photo shoot, anything that's engaging that people may want to look at. But at the end of the day, if you're a photographer, your camera that you shoot with day in, day out is going to be your best tool for shooting your best images, excluding, some of the light-hearted stuff. You don't want to be whipping out a big medium format if you're just standing on the platform of a train station waiting to get the train into London or something. But I'm on about posting your work, not your travel to work kind of stuff. So your camera's going to be your best tool for this job. And then you can pull the images from that to use in social media afterwards. Now, I know what people are going to say already. They'll be saying, yeah, but you can't really see much difference between an image shot on an iPhone and an image shot on your camera when it's on social media. And I completely agree. You're absolutely right. You can't often see a difference. Sometimes you can see a massive difference. Depends how good you are with a smartphone or with an iPhone. But you've got to look at it on the flip side, really. And that is, what if a prospective client wants to see your printed portfolio? Or perhaps they already want to buy one of your images that you've already posted on social media if you're in that sector of the industry. You're certainly not going to sell them that image in large print from a smartphone because you're not going to have the image quality or file size, he says, even though smartphones are getting better. But generally, you're not going to have that. So what if your client wants to see your portfolio or your book? Say they're asking you to bring your book in and all you've got is iPhone images. If that's your business, hey, you're on to a winner. But the majority of us know that your camera is your tool of choice for your profession. So use the images from your camera that you're shooting. Take those images and use those because they're your strongest asset in a way. That's the images the client's going to be paying attention to, more importantly. So yeah, just pay attention to that. If you're using your phones to film BTS stuff and like that, or little, morning breakfast shots of you arriving in the studio or you setting kit up, they're kind of BTS shots. They're all acceptable and iPhones are great. But for your main bulk of your business and your work, then hey, just use the images from your camera. Okay. He says, trying to change the next slide. So I'll come back on that in a second. So stories. Now, a lot of social media has the option to do stories and posts. Now, with Instagram especially, stories, and Facebook now, stories, they're only up there for, is it 12 hours or 24 hours? 24 hours, I think. Your story's up for 24 hours. So you can change those quite often, and they can be short and sweet, or you can stack a load of them up. That's the benefit of stories. And posts are obviously in your feed, and then they stay there in your history and things like that. So which one do you do? Which one should you be paying more attention to? Well, really, you should be doing both, is the answer to that one. And they're both as important as each other. And I think you'll find that your stories and your videos will actually end up getting more engagement than your posts, because moving image is actually at an expedited rate on the internet in general. I mean, over 80% of everything on the internet, on the World Wide Web, is now all moving image. All content is over 80% of all content is moving image. So it kind of tells you where our industry is going. So if you're not into doing moving image or BTS videos or using any of your cameras or phones or anything like that for doing video, maybe now you should start doing some stuff, because videos, people like to watch videos. They like to see moving images rather than reading text. It's the way the brain works. Crazy, I know. So yeah, use both. And you will see that, especially on Instagram and Facebook, that your videos may get more views and engagement than your posts. So it kind of gives you an inkling. But yeah, concentrate on both of those. It's very important. 100% important for that. It's all about engagement, remember. It's about engagement. If you've got lots of good videos for people to look through, there's generally a lot more to see than one static 2D image and a lot of text. Now, for some reason, people and clients like to watch BTS videos of shoots. And the thing is, it's becoming more popular and more of a big thing for commercial clients to have BTS footage as part of their shoot or the original commission. Magazine campaigns, if you do a fashion editorial, ad agencies or clients now in the brief are generally putting in their BTS footage. Because you got to remember, with the world moving towards moving image online for marketing and advertising, because it's also accessible now, those clients also like to promote themselves and the shoots or projects they're carrying out. And BTS is fun for everyone to watch. Okay, so if you're not shooting BTS, again, shoot more BTS and make sure you're offering it to your clients. Even if your client doesn't request it, I think perhaps if you can shoot a BTS short film and put it together through 3.5 minutes, not for Instagram, of course. We've got time limits on that of like a minute, or you can do it in blocks and extend that out to the technique of doing that. Then just film one and give it to your client anyway. They'll be most appreciative, especially if they put it on their social media and then include your links as bounce backs. So you're trying to generate more business and returning more business in that. So let's take a little look at a sample of a BTS clip. Just going to play this one for you. There we go. There's just a little short BTS clip of that one. It says trying to get himself back. Just a little short BTS. It doesn't take a lot sometimes to put these together, but they can be quite fun. You put some music to them, you put them up there. There's a minute's worth for people to look at, just gone, just like that. But has huge impact, especially when putting them in your stories. And with Instagram, I think you get 15-second clips. So you would put it up and it would split it into 4 to make a 60 seconds. So it's no big deal there. It's just a nice technique of doing it to make that work. So yeah, stories and posts, certainly do both of them in that respect, because it will help you 100%. And there's a lot of nice visual content out there for that as well. It's quite rewarding in a way, just adding something else to your main business, really. Quite fun to do. Another thing I would say, when you're doing social media posts, if you're using something like Adobe Spark or Photoshop, if you're using that, anything like that to put your own posts together, just as a time saver and good sort of business practice is to, I would say, just make templates. Make a master template, and then when you create a new post, you use that master template and save it out as the new post. So you always keep the master template unedited. And if you can make master templates for several things in your business and the way you're posting stuff, then that's really, really beneficial. But if you're going back to Instagram posts, which you're posting on Facebook, you could be putting, if you're a portrait studio, you could be putting special offers, discounted rates, all those kind of things, and the page is already made up for you with those templates. It's a huge saving especially if you're not a designer, because somebody else has already done the work for you. So definitely a good thing. Use them you can use all your posts to promote news, special events, special offers, invite them to events, even if you hold workshops and things, all these things. And the good thing is you then get click-throughs, and you can then direct people to your websites, to booking forms and booking pages. So all these things lead from one place to another. And then you have people in your mailing list for future events and stuff, if you do that kind of thing. Yeah, so when you're doing stories and posts, I would just say, use short, fun to read copy that's quite eye-catching. Quite fun to read and eye-catching images to get people's attention. With some platforms, you can even schedule your posts to go out at a certain time, but not with all of them, of course. Now, looking at Facebook in particular, you've got the option for a business page or a personal page. And you're probably saying, well, which one should I have? You can have both. I think it's very important to have a business page, because your subscriber list is not limited like a personal page. But I think the biggest, most important thing is to keep your content separate. Most certainly keep your business content separate. You wouldn't want your photos from your drunken weekend being posted on your business page in amongst all your work. One, it's going to ruin your workflow, your layout. Two, it's not doing your imagery any favors, or your name, or your brand, or your professional status. So try and keep those separate. On the flip side of that, if your business photos end up on your personal page, then that's pretty much okay, because it's just going to be your professional work. And then hopefully you can link that back to directing them to your business page. But yeah, keep the personal ones on the personal page away from your business page. Very, very important. So yeah, keep those the right way around, I think. Very important to keep those the right way around, 100%. Now, let me just come on. Done that one. Okay. I mean, this 45 minutes has just gone so quick, and this could go on for so much longer and so much deeper. But I'm hoping with what I've just said, it seems like I've gone through it in about 5 minutes. What I've just said, I hope it's giving you something to think about. And there's a lot of things there. You've basically just got to put them in the right order and figure out which one works for you best. I've just listed some mainstream social media platforms. They're the main ones that most people know. There are tons out there. If there are other ones that suit your need better, then so be it. That we don't have the time here to go through every social media platform on the market. But let's do a little recap of what we covered in today's webinar. So we've covered some social platforms. We've spoken about presentation. We've spoken about layout. We've talked about image quality, stories versus posts. Which do you do? Well, both, of course. We've spoken about adding video content to your posts and your websites and your blog pages and things like that, and all your social media. BTS videos. Don't know why. People love watching BTS videos, especially other photographers. I think they're trying to see how you do things, maybe. We spoke about image quality. We've spoken about frequency of posting. We've had a little bit of talk about kit, and we've had a little talk about engagement, and also, some other platforms we can use to create posts. Now, with all of this in mind, if you're new and starting out in business and you've only got basic camera gear at the moment, doesn't matter. You still post your best imagery to help grow your business. And then when you need to, improve your camera equipment or add to your equipment list, then when you're ready at the time, I'm sure Wex can sort out deals for you somewhere if you need to buy new equipment, or help you out along the way when you're in the position to. So they're there for you anyway. Or Fujifilm even. See how I slipped that in? Yeah, subtle, wasn't it? So what have we got to consider before we wrap this up? Well, I think at the end of the day, considerations to take into account whether you like it or not. Social media has become, at a stage now, it has become a crucial part of most of our photography businesses. And the only thing I would say is don't limit yourself with only one platform. You'll increase your reach if you sign up for a few more and if you showcase your work. The services that each one offers are sometimes quite different. So choose the best options that work for you. You know, I'm a fashion beauty photographer. I don't really advertise that on Facebook, but then I offer fashion and beauty workshops, which I do advertise on Facebook because people that aren't pro photographers like to come along to that. So different tools for different purposes. Okay. And don't forget to update your content regularly. Your best work, your good work, not everything you shoot. Okay. Um, Now, it may seem a lot of work in the beginning, and it is. I still think it's a lot of work every damn day, but there you go. But you've got to remember all the hard work you're putting in, especially if you build templates, give yourself an hour in the morning to do all your social media stuff, build it into your daily diary. It's going to pay off in the long run. But it's very important, I think, with all of that to manage your time. Now, the thing is with the photography business, you're really 80% marketing, advertising, trying to get business and running around, and 20% photographer. No matter what industry you're in, it's pretty much the same. Um, and also remember that social media is not a popularity contest. So don't worry about racking up the most followers. Yes, it would be nice. Of course, you can do paid ads if you want to do paid ads. I've heard a lot of hit and miss with that. Some people really successful, some people not. I guess it depends which industry you're in. But instead, focus your energy on the quality of your work, getting better work out there, more quality content that is going to get more more viewings and more people latched onto that for longer, more engagement is the word I was looking for, and make it available so that the right people see it and the right people get to offer you opportunities for all the hard work that you're doing, that you're working towards. It's our ultimate aim, really, I think. Now, I know there's probably questions coming in. Obviously, this is pre-recorded, but I am live through all of this to answer your questions. So keep them coming. I will be here typing away like a madman. I hope that's given you a little insight into sort of my social media for commercial use, why I use it, how I use it sometimes. Um, he says, I don't use it as much as I need to sometimes, but then my world's a little bit different. And obviously, I hope it's sort of pointed out the benefits of using them as well. I would say, again, I cannot really sort of push this enough, is that for all your best work, your professional work as a photographer, use the images from your camera. Okay, now me as a Fujifilm shooter, if I'm shooting something in studio and I generally shoot tethered, but if I'm saving images to card in camera, you know, I've got a Fuji app on my mobile phone. If I think an image is good enough to go up without any retouch, or it's close enough and I want to get that up quick, obviously with the client's permission, if you're doing commercial jobs, there's no embargoes sort of on that, then I can just open my app on my phone and I can just drag that image over from my camera to my phone and post that straight away. Don't have to go through any computer system. So I can have that. I can open Adobe Spark if I need to. I can put a page layout on that and send it off and do a post during my lunch break. So there's many, many options. You just got to think of the best way to do it for you. Excuse me, and really to just put your priorities in order. Don't spend all day in the office in front of a computer if you don't need to. Be quite regimented, and that I think will help your social media. And same with anything on social media, I would say be a creator, not a consumer, is probably the biggest key point there. And by that I mean, don't spend all day looking at Facebook and Instagram, but spend a little time in there posting your work and let other people go and look at it. That's the key factor. All right. Well, I hope that's given you some information, a little insight of how to use social media for commercial use. On top of that, I would like to thank Fujifilm and Wex for having me here to do this webinar and for showing you some of the methods that I take into account that I use. And remember, if you have any questions, please keep them coming below and I will answer them best I can. Obviously, I can't answer everything and I may not know everything, but I will do my best. And if anybody has any other questions outside of this webinar, please feel free to email me. I'm sure there are many, many other answers out there that I've not covered, I'm sure. But thanks for listening, and I will see you on the next one. So from me, it's a big goodbye. Thank you.